Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are jumping into a world that's really defined by trauma.
Absolutely. It's this unique mix of urban fantasy, military lore, and a kind of post-apocalyptic setting.
And our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack it all. We're looking at the history of these blood wars, the mythology of the Death Walkers, and a new protagonist's really crucial mission.
Right. We're guiding you through a world that is just scarred by this massive conflict. And the story, it really starts in a place of lingering trauma.
Yeah, it starts inside the mind of our new commanding officer.
With a recurring nightmare. They call it the Crimson Night.
Okay, let's unpack that. What do the sources actually say about this vision?
It's a memory, but it's pure agony. The notes are, very clear. The smell of copper, of blood, the ground just torn up by suffering.
And there's a figure, right? A silhouette?
Yeah, a man reaching out. And it's this image of immense power and maybe even protection. He keeps repeating a phrase.
It's not your time.
Exactly. It's so chilling, so ambiguous.
Yeah. And that phrase alone just suggests this predetermined path for them. And this isn't some old memory. It's an ongoing trauma.
Well, completely ongoing. It's tied directly to their new job, which is commanding officer of the Blood Barons.
And the Blood Barons are a special forces group?
You could say that. A very elite strike group. They're part of a bigger militia called the Sion Titans. But the Barons are the tip of the spear.
And where is the spear being kept?
They're based out of the Death Hunter Corps HQ. And get this, it's set up in a gutted train station.
A train station? Where?
Bangor, Maine. And this detail, it's not random. The sources are really specific about it. Bangor is one of the last real safe havens for survivors on the entire East Coast.
Also cities like New York, Boston, they're gone.
Leveled. Bangor survived because it's kind of isolated and maybe because of some early DHC intervention. It's become the military nerve center for what's left.
That sets such a powerful scene. A broken world led by someone who's haunted by this vision of destiny. So let's talk about the conflict that broke the world. What exactly were the Blood Wars, and who are the Death Walkers?
The Blood Wars were a decade-long global war. And the Death Walkers, they were the enemy.
Not just one type of creature, though.
No, and that's the key. It was a coalition. A full-on military alliance of mythological species. We're talking vampires, werewolves, dark spirits.
Shadow men.
The Shadow Men, yeah, they're a big part of it. And the sources trace their origins all the way back to ancient Egypt.
So they weren't new. They were just hidden.
Exactly. Hiding in plain sight for millennia. And then they decided to strike.
And the one who decided it was time?
A guy named Vance. The records identify him as the last descendant of the Nosferatu line.
Nosferatu. So, a cousin of Dracula.
A very powerful cousin, yeah. He's the one who formed the Death Walkers Alliance. And their attack, it was so fast, so brutal. Humanity was just completely unprepared.
And when you say global destruction, we're not talking about a few skirmishes.
No, we mean near total collapse. Cities on every continent turned to rubble. I mean, conventional armies, even UN forces.
Yeah.
They couldn't do anything against things that just ignore bullets.
Right.
That's how we got to this post-apocalyptic reality. Humanity was always on the back foot.
Which brings us right back to our protagonist. Because their new command is tied to a very personal, very recent loss.
It is. The CO's father, he was the previous leader of the Blood Barons.
And he's missing.
Went missing 6 months ago. He was tracking a group of shadow men deep in Asia Major, near the China-Burma border.
The same type of entity that complicated everything at the end of the war.
Wow. So it's not just a command, it's a rescue mission.
It's a ticking clock, for sure.
Okay, so let's look at the DHC itself, the Death Hunter Corps.
Yeah.
How did they come about? What was the moment that forged them?
It all comes back to a huge battle in New York City. The DHC, who were sort of a proto-group then, and some UN remnants, they finally managed to stall the Deathwalker advance.
And they cornered Vance, cornered him in an old warehouse. That battle proved that only these specialized, occult-aware teams could actually fight back. That's the DHC's origin story.
And the sources get really specific about the advance team on that mission. These are the founders, the heroes of the DHC.
Yes. 3 key people. Dion Martel, Simon Romero, and the protagonist's father.
Okay, wait. The sources have a little inconsistency here, right? With the father's name.
They do. It's fascinating. When they talk about him as the family man, the former leader, he's Ewan Allister. But the tactical files from that New York op,
they call him Marcus Allister.
Marcus Allister.
Yeah.
It could be a mistake, fog of war and all that.
Or a deliberate operational alias, a separation between the man and the soldier.
Exactly. Either way, His role in that final battle was absolutely central.
And it wasn't just about killing Vance. It was about an artifact.
The whole mission hinged on it. They had to get a Sion Trinity treasure, a legendary blade called the Watermind.
Because Vance was using it to control his forces.
He was. It was his source of power. It unified all those different species under his command. Getting that blade was the only way to break the alliance.
I love the tactical reports from that assault. They tell you so much. Dion Martel just leading the charge right through the truck bays.
With his family katana, Nirvana. Just a very direct, high-risk guy.
And then you have Simon Romero, the complete opposite.
The sniper. Yeah, he was posted up on a water tower providing cover.
Yeah.
And his ammo. It's just great.
He used standard silver bullets, which makes sense, but also his own custom rounds.
Custom wooden stakes. Infused with holy water and garlic oil. And the files explicitly note that garlic isn't even proven to work against vampires in this lore.
But he uses it for seer entertainment.
It just speaks volumes, right? It shows you the early DHC was this mix of brutal tactics and these very personal, almost superstitious rituals.
And our protagonist was there too, right? Reviewing these files is like reliving it.
Yep. They came in through the upper offices, creating the flank that finally trapped Vance.
Which is how they secured the Watermind blade itself. Let's talk about that. What makes this thing so dangerous? Not just to the enemy, but to the person holding it.
It's an artifact of profound duality. I mean, it looks beautiful. Silver blade, silver hilt, this big blue sapphire on the pommel. It's killed countless Deathwalkers. But it's cursed. Deeply, profoundly cursed.
And it's not a simple bad luck curse. It's a targeted psychological weapon.
It is. The curse hits you with voices, constant voices. They drive you insane and cause immediate, uncontrollable insomnia.
And there's a timeline, isn't there?
A horrifyingly specific one. It works on a 3-day cycle. After 3 days with zero sleep, you start having hallucinations.
Hallucinations that burn.
They actively burn your eyes out. The sources say most victims either gouge out their own eyes or end up drowning themselves just to make it stop.
It's a slow-motion mental collapse.
It is. And this brings it all back to the present day because our CO, they can feel it.
Even though the blade is locked away in the armory.
Doesn't matter. They can hear its voices calling to them constantly. It's an immediate internal threat.
So the DHC won the war, but their greatest asset is a psychological time bomb threatening their new leader. How are they even functioning?
This is where the father comes back in. The protagonist has this simple pendant he gave them.
Just a pendant.
That's it. It's not a military artifact, but it acts like a shield. It muffles the Watermind's voices just enough for them to maintain their sanity and, lead.
Wow. So the fate of the entire East Coast is basically resting on a sentimental necklace.
Pretty much. That's staggering.
Okay, let's go back to that final moment in New York. They have the blade. Vance is cornered, but it all goes sideways.
Right. Vance is facing Dion Martel, and he pulls the classic vampire escape.
The cloud of bats.
Turns into a huge cloud of bats and just zooms past Martel, heading for the exit. Simon Romero, up on the water tower, he tracks him, gets ready to fire.
But he gets interrupted.
A shadowman appears right behind him on the tower.
Which is a huge deal. That's not just a vampire or a werewolf. This is something else entirely.
It's an escalation.
Yeah.
These things travel through shadows. They possess people. Simon's training kicks in, though.
He drops the rifle shot.
Abandons the shot, grabs his silver cross, and starts a German prayer incantation. It banishes the spirit, and he turns back to Vance.
But that delay was just enough.
It was fatal to getting a clean win. Because in that moment, as the protagonist enters the truck bay, they see something else happen. A much stronger shadowman just stretches out of the warehouse wall.
Like out of the physical wall.
A massive, undulating shadow, and it fuses instantly with Vance's own shadow.
He was possessed mid-flight.
Instantly. This new entity, Shadow Vance, gets yanked violently downward into this pool of shadow that just opened up on the concrete floor.
And he had some final words.
Oh, yeah. The recording is iconic. Curse you, death hunters. It seems I am destined for something greater. Haha. Bird in hell, you scum.
And then he was just gone.
Gone. Not killed. Consumed. Transported somewhere else.
So, the good news is the Deathwalker Alliance falls apart. The war ends. The DHC is officially founded. But their leader was never actually defeated.
Well, it just passed on. And that's the core tension right now. The protagonist feels this deep unease because Vance's escape was engineered by the Shadowmen.
The very same species their father was tracking when he disappeared.
The two events are now completely inextricably linked.
So what does this all mean for our new CO? They're leading the last defense in a ruined world, using a necklace to hold off insanity while hunting for the man who gave it to them.
I think the key takeaway here is about the victory itself. The DHC won the battle, sure, but the enemy leader was handed off to a much darker, uncontained threat. The CO's entire command is defined by the unfinished business of the Blood Wars.
Which leaves us with a final, really provocative thought. It all centers on the two biggest secrets in the source material. You have the water mind, this terrible curse.
And the only thing holding it back is this pendant from the missing father.
Right. So given everything we know about the father, Marcus Yuan, DHC founder, when Vance got possessed, what's his real connection to all this? Did he know the Shadow Men were coming back? Did he know Vance would return?
And then there's the even bigger question, the one about the protagonist's own nature.
That reflection in the nightmare.
Exactly. The source is explicit. The reflection is no human, vampire, nor demon.
So what are they? Vance's final words were about being destined for something greater. Was he talking about himself, or...
Or the person who is about to take his place in the conflict? That's the real ticking clock. What happens if that pendant doesn't just fail? What if it was never meant to hide them, but to prepare them? What happens when their true nature is finally revealed?
That is the question you have to take with you into the ruins of Bangor, Maine. If the